Hey guys, Danny from Team Soul here. I want to apologize. We're having some technical issues with getting a video posted for everyone on time. Some copyright stuff via YouTube. So I wanted to rush this out to everyone this morning. We know that we have some people doing their first attempt very early, and I just want to make sure that everyone has everything they need in order to succeed on our behalf. So as you may or may not know, 19.1 was announced yesterday. It is an AMRAP of 19 wall ball shots and 19 calories on the rower for 15 minutes. It's a very simple piece, very classic CrossFit. I think that HQ hit the mark on making the first one very inclusive for everyone. It is very CrossFit-like, so I hope and think that everyone is satisfied in that regard. We're changing our strategy for Thursday nights. We used to have a bunch of our staff and coaches run through the workout right after the announcement. This year, what we're doing is we are sitting with our group of coaches here in the gym. We're going to watch the announcement live. Then after that, we will have one of our athletes run through it with us watching on the floor. We'll take notes. We're going to do our initial thoughts, on strategy, warm up, etc., etc. We will do our post thoughts after he or she runs through the workout, and then we're going to try to get some content up for you guys as soon as we possibly can. So yesterday, I'm very grateful to have had Laura Gonzalez run through the workout the first time. Laura got 8 rounds and change. She did really well. We talked a lot about setup. We talked a lot about pacing. These are some things that I'm going to review with everyone now. But I want to start by addressing warm-up. So in this AMRAP, both exercises have a very dominant hinging pattern in the wall ball and the row. Regardless if you're a very good hip hinger or you're a very good squatter or you are both, a very thorough hinging and squatting warm-up is going to be huge for this. So we have designed a really thorough warm-up for everybody. I'm going to post it in the links for this page. It's going to be posted on our private Facebook page. It's already posted on our blog. That's a suggested warm-up for everyone. I think that that's going to be a really important piece that's going to set the tone for this workout. Going into talking about some strategic specifics for this workout, I have some notes up here for everybody, but I think what's going to be really important is that people reverse engineer this workout. Think that we were given a gift yesterday in watching one of the most fit women of all time in the history of our sport perform this workout. And this is a workout that is very much in her wheelhouse. That was Samantha Briggs did this workout. She's a very good rower, very good wall balls. She's tall in stature. She's going to be very successful in this workout. So I don't say that because I think anyone needs to go after or target her result. I don't think that that's anyone in most people's best interest. However, I think that that gives us a benchmark and we can kind of reverse engineer ourselves and see where we want to be after that. Focusing on split times is going to be something that's very important. I think that people who have the help should set themselves up to have a judge and to also have someone with them that's pacing them. Someone that's making sure that they're staying on target, reminding them to slow down, reminding them to speed up. Every athlete kind of has a different level of care that they expect during open workouts, and I just hope that all of you guys communicate that to whoever it is that's helping you, whether that's someone pacing you, someone judging you, maybe you want to handle that duty yourself, whatever the case may be. I think it's very important that everyone communicates that very clearly. So in the moment, you know exactly what to expect. And there's a very good chance that I'm going to repeat myself a lot during these next 5 weeks of the Open. However, I will start by saying it. This one is going to be all about pacing. This is a workout that if you start this workout and you have not really dialed in your pacing, I really think everyone should take advantage of this and run through a couple rounds of it so they understand how it feels. We had some people before Laura run through a set of wall balls, a set of on the rower. We had some people run through just doing a couple rounds of it, and it's very easy for a simple workout like this to dictate your pace. So what happens often in very simple workouts like this that are very hinging dominant is the pace of your breathing and your breathing pattern will start to dictate your tempo and will start to dictate your heart rate. Both of these exercises are so simple that that's very easy to happen. So I think from the very beginning, it's very important to emphasize and dial in what your breathing pattern is going to be. So regardless if you're a very high skilled rower, regardless if wall balls are your jam and you're stoked on those, you're going to need to have a very regulated breathing pattern. It's good in our program design. We do a fair amount of breathing work, so that will be in many of your best interest. For those of you guys who are like are shorter athletes, I think that you folks are going to have to pick somewhere on where you're going to choose to emphasize a little bit more and where you're going to give up a little bit less. If you're a shorter athlete at this point, it's foolish to just say, I'm just going to smash both of these. I'm going to do all my wall balls unbroken, and I'm going to row at a 35 stroke rate. I think that you're going to have to pick one of the two where you want to give up. And for many people, that may be a strategic break in the wall balls from the beginning. For some people, that may be starting out your row slow and pacing up as you increase your minute or so on the rower. But that has to be dialed in before the workout starts. This is the kind of workout that if you make too many mistakes early on, you're probably not going to make up time. So I would definitely recommend picking one of those two areas to give up on, so to speak, if you're a candidate for that. In regards to the rower, I think that you're going to see two dominant styles of rowing. You're going to have our folks that are going to have a much lower stroke rate, a very long pulls, they're very powerful and aggressive on the rower. And then you're going to have folks like Laura last night that feel much more comfortable in a highly aerobic zone, and their stroke rate will be much higher. Yesterday, the target for Laura was a stroke rate of 30, and she hit that almost every time, and she had a lot of success with that. For some of you folks, that's going to be way too fast, and I definitely don't recommend that for everyone. If you are the kind of athlete that has a longer, more powerful power output on the rower, I would definitely recommend a much lower stroke rate. For example, prior to Laura, we had one of our general clients, Laz, mess with the rower a little bit, and his preferred stroke rate was about 24. He's a long gentleman, and he has a very long, powerful pull, and he was successful in that as long as he was able to keep his breathing pattern regulated. As far as setup goes, I think setup is another big one for this. Most open workouts definitely have this challenge where people have to put into consideration how they're going to video. We found out after the fact that on the video submission, you have to display the monitor on the calories. So if you're the kind of person that's going to be videoing your workout, please go through and read the video submission guidelines. But outside of that, I'll give you an example. Here at Soul and in our program, we do not have women and men train at different heights for wall ball shots. The only thing that we change is the weight. I never fully understood that. Women and men have to do the same, reach the same standard for handstand push-ups, for thrusters, all similar exercises. I don't understand why the height and weight has to be changed. It's really the only exercise that CrossFit chooses to do so. So we've never really done that. So if you've been following our program, I think that women doing the wall ball shot to a 9-foot target is obviously going to be in your best interest. However, here in our gym, we only have a 10-foot target that comes out of our rig. So it's one of those it's a rogue style rig where the target will come out. So essentially you'll be throwing the medicine ball up to the target. You'll get some feedback from it and the medicine ball comes out. People who train on a traditional wall, you'll notice that your medicine ball, you'll throw it up towards the wall and it'll come straight down. I think that if you can use or lower a target so it gives you that feedback, how our 10-foot targets are here in the gym, is the most ideal. If not, make sure, well, regardless of what your target is going to look like, make sure that you pick the spot on the floor where you want your feet to be. I would even go as far as taking some chalk and putting X's where you want your feet or your toes to be, so that position is very consistent. After that, you want to position your rower so you're a step or two away from your wall ball. And the reason why I think that's very important, if you're regardless of how many rounds you're going for, anywhere from 2 to 5 seconds, messing with the rower, taking your time to get in and out, walking back from across the gym to get into the rower, et cetera, is definitely going to add up over the course of, I don't know, some of you guys potentially knocking on the door of 10 rounds. So transitions and transition points are going to be very important. I think if you transition well, you transition very fast, you can take the opportunity your first couple strokes on the rower to build up in intensity. And after around minute 6 is when I had Laura starting to begin her row slightly more paced out and a bit slower and building intensity throughout. I think she was very successful with that. The last thing I'll say is for the majority of this workout, I would say for the first 12 to 13 minutes, you need to have a very repeatable, aerobic, breathable pace. If at any point your breathing starts to dictate your heart rate, and if at any point, if your heart rate starts to dictate your pacing for this workout, you might as well stop. You're not going to recover. If blood fills your legs so quickly and so much that you start to get sore in the middle of this workout or your legs start to get tight, you might as well stop and repeat this workout at a later date, which honestly is possible for most of you guys. I think that many people at this point should be training high volume this time of the year, preparing for the Open, and repeating this workout is absolutely okay. With that being said, let's give the first effort a very aggressive run. You will recover well from this. And if you have to repeat it on Monday, I think that you will be very well recovered, and it's much easier to dial in mistakes that you've made after an aggressive attempt rather than having a very conservative attempt to start and being unsure of what an aggressive attempt will look like. So my first thought yesterday was to have Laura be a tiny bit more conservative. It was almost 9 o'clock. She doesn't train that late. It was definitely suboptimal time for her to perform this workout. So that was my first thought. And very quickly, Lewis and I talked about it, and we're like, you know what, fuck it. It is very consistent with how we've always done the Open to have our athletes have a more aggressive first attempt, and that's what we did. She was very successful in that regard. And now we can see some areas where she might want to make adjustments if she chooses to repeat, which she doesn't have to. So regardless of the matter, I wish everyone luck. If you are recording, make sure you have space on your phone. Make sure your phone is charged. I would definitely recommend to download one of these apps so you're not worried about the clock placement. Communicate with your judge, print your scorecard, etc., etc. Post your time to comments and let us know if you have any questions. Good luck.